Welcome to my short course in Racism 101, Apples and Oranges. Let's start with something simple. Here's an apple, and here's an orange. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture that apple representing everything alive that isn't human. You know, all those trees swaying in the breeze, the plants pushing through concrete, the insects buzzing around, and animals roaming free. That's our apple. But the orange? Well, that's us, the human race. The whole kit and caboodle of humanity wrapped up in this little citrus sphere. Every single one of us, from the tallest to the smallest, the loudest to the quietest, we're all part of this orange. Now here's where it gets interesting. Take a good look at that orange. Really examine it. You might notice that some parts of the peel are a bit lighter, others a tad darker. Maybe there's a spot here, a smooth patch there, or a bit of roughness somewhere else. But here's the kicker. No matter what you see on the outside, it's still an orange through and through. The same goes for us humans. We come in all sorts of shades and textures. Some of us might be bluer, others greener. You've got your blacker, your whiter, and yes, even your oranger folks out there. But just like that orange, no matter what we look like on the outside, we're all human on the inside. So when we start dividing people up based on the color of their skin, what are we really doing? We're taking this beautifully complex thing called humanity and reducing it to something as shallow as the peel of an orange. We're ignoring everything that makes us who we are, our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences, and focusing on something that's quite literally only skin deep. That's not truth, folks. That's ignorance, plain and simple. It's like trying to judge the taste of an orange by the texture of its peel. It just doesn't make sense. Because here's the thing, racism isn't about oranges versus oranges. It's not even apples versus apples. What racism does is try to compare apples to oranges. It takes one group of humans and tries to say they are fundamentally different from another group of humans based on something as arbitrary as skin color. But we're all oranges, remember? We're all human. So the next time you catch yourself about to think or say something that divides people based on race, I want you to stop. Take a breath. And remember this little lesson about apples and oranges. Look deeper, see past the peel, see the orange, see the human. Because when you really get down to it, we're all part of the same fruit bowl. We're all part of the human race. And that's something worth celebrating, not dividing. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. But what about our differences? Aren't those important too? And you're absolutely right. Our differences are important. They're what make us unique, what give us our individual flavors, if you will. But here's the crucial point. Those differences don't make us any less human. You can have navel oranges, blood oranges, mandarin oranges. They all have their unique characteristics. But at the end of the day, they're all still oranges. They all belong to the same family. And that's exactly how it is with humans. Our differences, whether they're in our skin color, our culture, our beliefs, or our experiences, they're like the different varieties of oranges. They make us interesting. They give us different perspectives and insights, but they don't change the fundamental fact that we're all human. Racism tries to ignore this basic truth. It tries to convince us that some humans are more orange than others, or that some aren't oranges at all. But that's just not how it works. We're all oranges. We're all human. Full stop. And here's another thing to consider. When you peel an orange, what do you find inside? Segments. Each one connected to the others, each one essential to the whole. That's humanity right there. We're all connected. We're all essential parts of the whole human experience. So when racism tries to separate us, to pull us apart based on our outer appearance, it's going against the very nature of who we are as humans. It's trying to break apart those segments, to disconnect us from each other. And that hurts all of us. Because here's the truth. We're stronger together. Just like an orange is at its best when all its segments are intact, humanity is at its best when we recognize our connections to each other, when we celebrate our differences while acknowledging our shared humanity. Now, I'm not saying this is always easy. We've got a long history of division to overcome. Centuries of prejudice and discrimination have left deep scars. But that's exactly why it's so important to keep this apple and orange analogy in mind. Every time you're tempted to judge someone based on their race, remember, you're looking at another orange. Every time you hear someone spouting racist ideas, remind them, we're all part of the same fruit bowl. It's about changing our perspective. Instead of focusing on the differences in our peels, we need to start seeing the humanity that lies beneath. We need to recognize that every person, regardless of their race, has hopes, dreams, fears, and feelings just like we do. And here's a little secret. Once you start seeing people this way, it becomes a lot harder to hold on to racist ideas. Because racism thrives on distance, on the idea that they are fundamentally different from us. But when you realize we're all oranges, that distance disappears. So I challenge you to take this lesson out into the world. The next time you interact with someone of a different race, remind yourself, this is another orange. This is another human being. See how it changes your perspective, how it opens up new possibilities for connection and understanding. And if you hear someone expressing racist ideas, don't be afraid to speak up. Share this simple analogy with them. Ask them to look beyond the peel and see the orange, see the human. Because at the end of the day, that's what fighting racism is all about. It's about recognizing and celebrating our shared humanity. It's about understanding that our differences don't divide us. They enrich us. They make our human fruit bowl more colorful, more flavorful, more interesting. So remember, we aren't comparing oranges to oranges. We're all oranges in this big, beautiful, diverse world of ours. And the sooner we all realize that, the sooner we can start building a world where racism has no place. So next time you're about to think or say something ignorant, remember we are comparing apples to oranges. We aren't comparing oranges to oranges. Because an orange is, well, still an orange. And a human is still a human, no matter what they look like on the outside. Let's make the world a little juicier, a little sweeter, by seeing the orange, the human, in everyone we meet. That's how we'll squeeze the life out of racism, one orange at a time.